at rest, or play, they're enthralling. Right from the start, elephants are record breakers. Amongst mammals, African elephants have the longest gestation period, 22 months. Their Asian cousins have slightly shorter pregnancies. Surrounded by family, mothers give birth to a single calf. Twins are extremely rare. Delivery is a short process, and within their first hour, the baby is testing out its wobbly legs and having a drink of milk. Compared to adults, the calves are hairy. This layer of fine hairs will persist until they're a year old. Newborns can weigh 120 kilos. When they first arrive, elephant calves are about 1 meter tall. In relation to their gigantic mothers, they are roughly 45 times lighter. From birth, a newborn calf is unsteady on its feet. It relies on its mother for support. Calves have poor eyesight at first and connect through touch, smell, and hearing. On their rich diet of mother's milk, they steadily put on weight, approximately 14 kilos a week. By the time they're 4 months old, calves begin to taste test plant material. They will, however, continue to nurse until they're 3 or 4 years of age. If a calf is going to develop tusks, they are born with a starter set. These short knobs are like milk teeth. They fall out after their first birthday. Permanent tusks become obvious a couple of years later, when they grow out beyond the lip line, and they will continue to grow throughout the animal's life. As already noted, calves have plenty of adult attention. By watching their relatives, the babies learn which plants are safe to eat and how to harvest them. When traveling, the herd alters its pace to suit the smallest legs in the family. While standing and walking come quickly, the biggest challenge an elephant calf faces is mastering its trunk. Calves are born with a relatively short trunk that elongates quickly over the first few days. This rapid growth sometimes leads to the calves stepping on their own trunk. Getting it to do what is needed can be difficult. Drinking can prove tough. Many calves simply kneel down to take a sip until they learn how to siphon water like the adults. It can take these big babies 9 months to figure out how to fully control this massive facial feature. Childhood is over for a calf when they're weaned off their mother's milk. This can take 5 to 10 years. They're considered adolescents up until they turn 17. By this age, they're sexually mature, but they do not stop breeding. It's during this stage that young males head out and take up with other bachelors. Adult cows usually start rearing calves from the age of 20 and can continue to do so for another 30 years. Going through such long pregnancies, females do wait a considerable time between calves, up to 4 years. Over the course of their life, the average mother will have 4 calves. As for mature bulls, most of their time is split between searching for food and competing with their rivals for mates. On average, elephants have lengthy life expectancies. 60, even 70 years is not uncommon. Large animals have big appetites, and in the 2 regions they are found, elephants can satisfy their appetites in a wide variety of habitats. In Africa, the savanna is only one place these massive creatures forage for meals. Dense forests, woodlands, and dry desert regions can all be scouted for food. During their travels, they can visit anywhere from beaches to mountain ranges and can handle tropical conditions in the north through to temperate climates in the south. Their cousins in Asia are just as widespread. All manner of forests, plus grasslands and shrubby regions provide them with suitable food and shelter. Asian elephants frequent coastal habitats, all the way up to the high slopes of the Himalayas. Living in more open environments, African bush elephants tend to have larger home ranges, 11,000 square kilometers. On average, these giant vegetarians spend up to 16 hours a day eating. Consuming between 75 and 150 kilos of food. That's the equivalent of 4 or 5 bales of hay. They need to eat this much because their digestive systems aren't that effective. Only 40% of what they consume actually gets absorbed into their bodies. Bush elephants are classed as grazers and browsers. Anything from grasses through to medium-sized trees are on their menu. Their smaller forest-dwelling kin are browsers and frugivores, which means they enjoy fruit in addition to seeds, leaves, bark, and branches. In forests, elephants create clearings by trampling. This encourages alternative plant growth, providing a different habitat within the trees. The clearings allow more light to reach the forest floor, giving lower-lying plants less competition and a chance to grow. This then promotes biodiversity, providing new niches for organisms to inhabit. What Asian elephants eat depends on the time of year. During the dry season, they browse on shrubs and trees. And once the rains come, they switch to grazing. To crush up their food, elephants have 4 molars, 2 up top and 2 below. About the size of a brick, each weighs a couple of kilos. Elephants only get 6 sets of these molars to see them through their entire lives. The first set falls out at 2 to 4 years of age, and the second at 4 to 6. Consequent sets last for longer intervals, but the final set is usually in place by the early 40s and has to last for the rest of the elephant's life. Trunks are handy harvesting tools. The tips can delicately pluck leaves or fruit. Or the whole appendage can be used to shake an entire tree. Tusks can tear into a trunk, exposing bark. Boab trees are popular targets. Their fleshy, moisture-rich trunks holding thousands of liters of water. Elephants can drink up to 200 liters of water a day, similar to the volume of a standard bathtub. At 4 liters a trunkful, that's a lot of dipping. Although an elephant's intestines measure about 35 meters, as mentioned, its gut doesn't function well. And most of what passes out of them is undigested vegetation. On average, they produce 110 kilos of manure a day. They may not get much out of the dining experience, but their environment does. Apart from fertilizing their habitat as they wander along, elephants also spread seeds and promote new plant growth. One study calculated these lumbering seed banks can transport and deposit seeds more than 60 kilometers away from their original source. Elephant dung has other uses. For a curious lion cub, a large, smelly pat can make an interesting toy. To a dung beetle, these large deposits provide an endless feast for their larvae. In turn, the larvae are an important food supply for birds and other animals. As residents in their ecosystem, elephants have their part to play in the food chain. These giants do eventually pass on, and when they do, scavengers dispose of their massive carcasses. A gruesome but vital process. In return for plentiful food supplies, nature's janitors keep the environment clean and sanitary. Another way elephants improve their local ecosystem is by digging. During dry spells, they use their tusks, trunks, and feet to access water, allowing them and others to quench their thirst. Elephants also dig for salt and minerals to supplement their diet. The holes they leave behind expose the same nutrients for smaller animals. As the largest land mammals, elephants can't help but make a large impact on their environment. Africa and Asia might be their native lands, but elephants enjoy a global fan base, and have for centuries. Traditionally, they carry deep symbolic meanings for various cultures. They represent strength, power, wisdom, longevity, stamina, leadership, and loyalty in many cultures, with emphasis on the elephant's size and exotic looks. With the head of an elephant, the popular Hindu deity Ganesha represents wisdom, intelligence, good fortune, and prosperity. Bestowing happiness and removing obstacles are two of his particular talents. In Hinduism, Airavata, the father of all elephants, represents both lightning and rainbows. In Sumatra, elephants are also associated with lightning. In Nepal, these enormous mammals have shrines dedicated to them. They are national symbols in Thailand in recognition of their longevity, strength, and stamina. In Burma, Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia, white elephants are considered sacred. A rare kind of elephant, they are not actually white, but have fair eyelashes and toenails, and are reddish-brown in color. In Thailand, all that were discovered were presented to the king. Revered as symbols of good fortune and power, only monarchs and the very rich could afford to care for them. The king, in turn, may present them to friends and allies, or in some cases to enemies, in order to burden them with the cost of caring for them. Buddhists also hold elephants in high regard. Buddha himself is said to be a white elephant reincarnated. The city of Jaipur in northern India celebrates these regal creatures with an annual festival, adorning them with fine jewels and giving them colorful makeovers. Their image is not only found in artworks and sculptures, but also in nature. Years of weathering has created this archway in the Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada, USA. Known as Elephant Rock, its sandstone trunk is an impressive sight. In Western society, elephants are celebrated across popular culture, mainly due to their exotic nature. They are popular characters in many works of fiction, from Kipling to Disney. Often portrayed as having high moral values and also as dependable and strong. In US politics, the Republican Party is also known as the GOP, or Grand Old Party, and adopted the elephant as its symbol in 1874. Across many countries and cultures, in myth, religion, and even fantasy, there is no doubting the impact made by this majestic creature. It's no secret that elephants are huge animals. It makes sense that they need lots of room to search for food and water, and to find suitable mates. With greater amounts of land being taken up for agriculture, the amount of space available to them is not only shrinking, but also becoming highly fragmented. Loss of habitat is one big problem they all face. Another is hunting and poaching. Their tusks continue to be considered valuable despite international bans on the ivory trade. African elephants are listed as vulnerable, while their Asian relatives are in the endangered category. Their slow rate of reproduction doesn't help their cause. What can is better protection, and not just of them physically, but also of their environment. Conservation groups are doing what they can to slow down the loss of habitat. with stronger government support and more stringent protection laws, illegal poaching and ivory sales will become increasingly difficult. Education programs and alternative sources of revenue, such as work on anti-poaching teams, will hopefully reduce conflicts between elephants and their human neighbors. One tiny creature helping to minimize large unwanted visitors straying into valuable crops are bees. Elephants are afraid of them. Taking advantage of this, conservationists are installing hives close to farms to naturally deter them. Elephants are tourism magnets. By protecting them and the lands they roam, all will benefit. Field research and monitoring will improve conservation programs. The better their needs are understood, the more constructive future preservation efforts will be. Zoos and captive breeding programs also have their place, yet again increasing public awareness and understanding. In their domains, elephants are key to the overall health and wealth of the environment. As the largest land animals on the planet, they deserve our respect, admiration, and protection.